COVID and some of the challenges that befall us with COVID. On that note, we'll bring up our next presenter. Our next presenter is Chidi Ukomadu. Chidi Ukomadu is an African graduate from the Enugu State University in Nigeria of Science and Technology. He holds a degree in public administration, and he'll be telling us and talking to us about the impact and the effect of COVID-19 on the economy, the need for us to have youthful entrepreneurship principles and strategy, the need for us to have good governance, and the role of peace building in achieving sustainable development. Mr. Chidi Ukomadu, you have 2 minutes to give us an intro about who you are, 15 minutes to consolidate and crystallize your presentation, and then 5 to 6 minutes if we have time for questions and answer. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, good evening all. Can you hear me over there? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, sir. Go ahead.
Good evening. Okay, thank you. I want to state that there is some sort of a reorganization or restructuring of the topic that I am to speak on this evening. So what I was asked to speak on after my discussion with Mary is police brutality issues, corruption, and how it impedes good governance on the continent. So it is quite different from what Dr. Bujie said. I'm talking on police brutality issues, corruption,
in order. Others will also speak on the other panelists will speak on the youth. You are perfectly in order. Police brutality with the view of building, peace building, good governance, they're all interrelated. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Before I go on, I want to thank the Watch Democracy Grow. We have actually been watching democracy grow. It's a non-political, a new narrative that wants to help to bring a new way of thinking in, especially among the youth. You can see what is happening in Nigeria now. The youths have risen up, not only in Nigeria. It started in Mali, it is there in Guinea, and now it is in Nigeria. The sleeping giant of Africa has roused. The youth of Africa has turned to a moving train, and nobody will stand before them. So as I said, I'll be talking on police brutality issues, corruption, and how it impedes good governance on the continent. You see, the police as an institution originally was meant to serve and to protect. But we cannot say this is true in most African countries, and especially in Nigeria. If you have been going through the social media quite recently, in the last 2 weeks or so, you'll be seeing what has been trending. End SARS. It is an agitation against the brutality, the harassment, even the maiming and killing of the people who are supposed to serve and to protect. So it has gotten to a level that Nigerian youth now said, no, enough is enough. This cannot continue. We can't continue this way. In Nigeria, for quite some time now, it has become a crime for you to be a youth and rich. It is a crime. It is a crime for you, and you're wearing dread. People called a special and harassing our youth. they will tell them, I will kill you and nothing will happen. And that has been happening, and they have been getting away with it. They will kill you, our youth. They will maim them. They will brutalize them, and nothing will happen. It is really unfortunate. And this continued for a very long time, and nobody was coming to the rescue of the youths until they rose and say, enough is enough. That became the trigger that triggered a lot of other things that is aimed at enthroning good governance, that is aimed at bringing a holistic reforms in the whole system in the country. Now, one will be wondering, what is the problem? How come that an institution that was created to serve and to protect now became an institution of coercion, now became an institution of brutalization, of humiliation, of maiming, of killing the people they are meant to serve? I feel in order to understand this, we have to take a look at the root cause of the problem. And this could be looked at from several perspectives. The first one is from a historical perspective. Now, hello, you still hear me? Am I on?
Yes.
Hello?
Hello.
Mary, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead. Hello?
Okay, okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So we can, yeah, okay, no problem. How do you? Oh, thank you. So we can take a look at this from several perspectives. The first one is historical. You see, you all are aware that Nigeria had a colonial legacy. The police force we had was a colonial creation. And when it started around 1861 as part of the Hausa Constabulary, that later split into the police and the army. You see, you discovered that when the British colonialists came, they came here on a mission, economic exploitation. So the police was created not to serve and to protect, and because of that, they can coerce, they can intimidate, they can brutalize in order to achieve the aim of their masters, the British colonialists. And this continued for a very long time. Even after independence, just 6 years into the independence, the military struck, the military took over. So they were part of the military government. During that period, you will be hearing of unknown soldiers. A group of soldiers will come, kill people, even sack a village, and they will be moved from that point to another. When you ask, they will say it was unknown soldiers that did it. That is how the police force continued. They will kill people, they will maim, they will destroy, and now they will move to another place and they cannot be traced. Now, these people they call Special Anti-Robbery Squad. In not quite long before this agitation that led to their disbandment, some of them even go about with POS. They will have their guns on their shoulders and will tell you, you are going to transfer so amount of money. If you don't do it, we will kill you and nothing will happen. Once they see any youth dressing well, when they see any youth driving any good vehicle, they will get their phones searched. Once they see a huge amount of money in their bank details, you must transfer part of it, up to half. If you don't do it, you'll be threatened. Now, to me, this Special Anti-Robbery Squad should be better called Special Authorized Robbery Squad. Because when you are using weapons to force somebody to send money to you, to transfer money to you, my brothers, that is robbery.
Hello?
Okay.
Hello.
Go ahead, sir.
Led to that is psychology. From a psychological perspective. In a study Yeah, done by Professor Terminal de Blessing. Form itself is a problem. Black, standing on the road, standing under the sun. That black has a way of attracting light, making the heat to be more intense. And because of that heat, that their body is no longer the way it should. They are annoyed. They are against the state, against everybody, and they now take it out on the people. That is the second thing that has been leading to this brutality. The third one is funding. These people are underfunded. When you look at the salary structure of the Nigerian police force, it is one of the poorest in the world. A constable receives about 46,000 naira, which is about $128, with what some people used to go to a bar, and when they are coming back, they won't have any change. This is what somebody goes home as a take-home pay. How do you expect the person to be happy? Okay. Another issue that has been leading to this, their brutality and their general attitude to Nigerians is corruption, nepotism, and tribalism. This could be seen in the police high command. They are being brutalized too by the superior officers. So when they are brutalized, they come back to us to brutalize the masses. A good number of them will stay at a place, at a particular position for years. The officers will tell you, if you don't bring such amount of money, nobody will promote you. And they be going about with annoyance. PRO once said something, part of the country, because they know that the standard of living there is a little bit higher. People are carrying money about, people that have businesses. So they go there, they brutalize them, and then it's either you pay the money or anything else untoward will happen to you. As I said, the police high command is part of the problem that we are having in terms of their attitude towards the people. You know, I used to have a friend who used to be the commander of SARS in one of the states close to FCT. At times I go to visit him, and in the evenings you see some outriders. They will come. When they will come and leave, he will tell me, these are IG boys. They came for their own cut. So it then means that these SARS people will do whatever they could in order to make money, and at the end of the day, they will take back to the powers that be. And if you don't do it, they will remove you and brought more brutal people that will brutalize, traumatize, coerce, harass, intimidate, maim, and even kill in order to raise money to, you know, give the superior officers. So it is a very big issue. So having said that, let's go to corruption and the good governance. When you talk of corruption, we are talking of the abuse of public authority or wrongdoing, as well as acquiring wealth and power for private benefit. Transparency International states that corruption is misuse of entrusted power for private gains. Now, what has been responsible for this prevalence of corruption? The first one is cultural factors. In Africa, especially in Nigeria, we have come to see corruption as a way of life. If you are not corrupt, honestly, after your stay in the public service, in the police or any other place you work, and you came home, people will be looking at you as a failure. Look at this man when he was in power. How many of us did he give job to? How many of us did he award contracts to? But because of this man was doing what he was supposed to do, he had been looked as a failure. So anybody that from that village or from that community that goes into that office, we want to do what people want in order to be accepted. These are one of the things that leads to corruption. Another thing could be environmental factor, where everybody else, peer pressure, peer comparison, everybody is doing the same thing. One man now said When the best of people take bribes, isn't it the fool who doesn't? Everybody is doing this. You cannot be the odd man out. That is what is obtainable in the environment. You join them too, you join the bandwagon. So these are some of the factors that lead to corruption in Africa. And we have types of corruption. You can talk of a political corruption, that is the manipulation of election, people and institutions in order to retain power and office. This is very high in Africa. The old horses, the people who have been in power since independence, they have been there. They have been manipulating. They have been using money. They have been changing policies in order for them to continue to remain in power. Another one is bureaucratic corruption. This one is another very endemic and dangerous aspect of corruption. These are the masters. A good number of them in public service tells these politicians how to embezzle money. And not just embezzling money, how to cover up the tracks and they will not be caught. They call it retirement. A good number of them will have more than 50 registered companies and different receipts. So that when they help politicians to steal money, they know how to cover their tracks and nobody will catch them. It is a very big issue. You know, corruption, we equally have a judicial corruption where justice is for sale. In Nigeria, in Africa, at the last, the first administration of our president, General Buhari, right, there was a time he was attacking the judiciary. A good number of them were arrested. Some even security agencies broke into the homes of judicial officers to show you the level of corruption, even among the people who are supposed to be the last hope of the people, desecrating the temple of justice. Now, corruption has a lot of impact on good governance. Africa has a huge deficit on good governance. This could be attributed to the level of corruption which refuses to abate all over the continent, especially in Nigeria. That of Nigeria has become so intractable, so endemic. A lot of agencies, organizations have been created in order to make sure that corruption is reduced to the barest minimum, but still nothing is happening. You have the Code of Conduct Bureau, you have the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, you have the ICPC, you have the police, you have the Financial Intelligence Unit. Still, upon all this, corruption is still on the high in every facet of our national life on daily basis. Now, there are several ways that corruption manifests in our land. The first one is budget padding. This one is among legislators. The smuggling projects that have no bearing to the people, that has no place in the original budget, thereby diverting funds that are meant for the people to their private pockets. And most of the time, these contracts are overinflated. Okay, another one is award of substandard projects. Several governments, since the inception of democracy, have been trying to, improve the lives of the people. But you see that it's as if they are pouring water in a basket, because upon all the efforts, nothing is happening. So what is the problem? There are some roads, you will see that is going on those roads. What happens? They will not give these roads to a contractor that are proven that are worth their metal. They give it to substandard people where they will pay them a little amount of money and they divert the other ones. At the end of the day, after a year or two, you will see potholes and the whole roads will scatter. It is a big problem. It is one of the conduit pipes that our national funds is being siphoned and wasted. Now, under Obasanjo's regime, about $16 billion was spent on the power sector. Up to now, power is very epileptic in Nigeria. In other countries, you have the central power system, that's the national power on the national grid. as the main source of power, and then you have generators as backup. But in Nigeria, you have generator as backup, and then the public power supply as your backup. Generators become the main power supply, national power supply backup. It's really unfortunate. That is why up to now, when some countries are talking of 80, 100 and something megawatts of electricity, we are still battling around 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, rocking forth and back. It is a very big problem here in Nigeria. And then administration, a CCTV project to cover the whole FCT and Lagos with closed circuit camera. The contract was awarded. But after some time, I even wondered if the thing worked for a day. Go to the whole of Abuja and Lagos now, they have all packed up. In fact, it is rodents and insects that are using it as their abode at the moment. This is really unfortunate. It's as a result of awarding contracts to substandard contractors who are not tested and trusted.
Hello.
Another issue that has to borders on corruption.
Hello, Mr.
Yes. Yes,
so
I can hear you.
We're in the rounding up phase, right? Because we have 1 or 2 questions and we have other
Okay.
panel. So you have about 5 minutes more.
Okay. Now, apart from a substandard project, you still have jumbo pay for police office holders, where Nigerians are talking of minimum wage of 30,000 naira, and their senators are going home with nearly $100,000 every month. We have over bloated bureaucracy. Anybody that comes into power will, and all these things keep wasting money that should have been used for and to make Africa highly deficient in good governance, lacking in basic infrastructure and productive capacity and material resources. Africa has become the sick man of the world. This something is not done urgently, it may slip into coma very soon. Now, what do we do? In case of a police brutality, there are certain things that could be done to improve police service. The first one is good salaries. They deserve good salaries. I believe when they are paid there, it is going to improve their attitude towards the people. Another one is improved standard of living. Then training and retraining of personnel. It is very important. And then making officers responsible for their acts. You can't kill somebody and say, I will kill you and nothing will happen. By the time they start making them take responsibility for what they did, others will, start behaving well. Again, there should be need for independent agencies or commissions to take care of people's grievances. Those that have grievances should go to them and complain. And then the issue of the name, that name Nigerian Police Force should be changed to Nigerian Police Service. There is nothing forced about it. It is to serve and to protect. And then issue of corruption in Africa, we need to reform the electoral process. Until we start bringing in the right people, until we start making election, our votes count, all these old roguish politicians will keep recycling themselves, and it will be the same story every time. And then there is need for harder punishment for convicted looters. By the time they spend 20, 30 years in detention, others who wouldn't want to go there again. And again, there should be a timeline, like this agitation that has started now. The youth should make the government have or talk of a particular timeline that they are going to implement all these reforms that they asked them, they agitated for it to be done. And again, finally, African youths, Nigerian youths should refuse to be divided, because what they have been using is that they use religion, they use ethnicity, they use tribe to divide us, to divide the youth. That whenever, like you see what happened in NSAS protest, youths from all over Nigeria gather. They don't even have a leader. That shows that they have decided to make Africa the Africa of their dream. They don't have leaders. They provided for themselves. They are ICT savvy. They are highly educated. They know what they want. They tried everything they could to break their backbones, even shooting. These people refused. Now they are bringing in ethnicity and religion. They are beating ethnic tonton. Let African youth refuse to be divided based on ethnicity and religion. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chidi, for really chronicling, for really putting in place the timeline and the storyline of how good governance should be and relating it with the current situation in the country. We sympathize with you, and we sympathize with all Nigerians, all young people in Nigerians who have been going through unquestionable stress as a result of police brutality. It has been condemned by every other one, and we will be getting a question from you soon. We hope that you just hold on with us while we pick on the second speaker. I have all your questions here. The second speaker is about to go for an international conference, you know, and he's in South Sudan right now, about to travel. So once he's done with his presentation,